I'm Katie.
And I'm Kay.
And you're listening to the Babes of Quinte podcast. The Family Dental Center is locally owned with offices in Belleville, Frankfort, and Coburg.
If you've been listening to us, you know that we love the FDC team. Since 2007, Dr. Yasmin has been serving patients in the community, like the Free Dental Day coming up on May 7th at the Frankfort location.
FDC puts their patients first. They will work with you to make sure you have a stress-free and amazing dental experience.
For more information about FDC, go to familydentalcenter.com or follow them on Instagram at FDCFamily. Hey Katie, how excited were you when Andrea, the owner and operator of Angelic Serendipity in Trenton, reached out to us to be a podcast partner?
After exploring her Facebook page and having a chance to chat with her, I was so pumped. In all honesty, I want to be Andrea when I grow up.
Angelic Serendipity offers a wide range of crystals, chakra stones, incense, boho clothing and decor, sound bowls, and so much more to help you find balance and harmony in your life.
You can shop Angelic Serendipity in person at 2 King Street in Trenton, next to Liberty Tax. Or check out Angelic Serendipity on Facebook at Angelic Serendipity or on Instagram at angelic.serendipity_. What's up?
Hey.
It's April.
It is April. That's wild.
So crazy. March felt so long.
See, I thought February was like 500 years long and March was like 2 seconds.
February is short to me. January was like a journey. I felt like I was in Lord of the Rings trying to find like Mordor or something. Is that the same movie?
I have no idea.
Don't at me, people.
I've never watched Lord of the Rings or read the books.
We all know I couldn't read, so I watched the movies. I didn't get it. I'm not judging it. I just didn't get it.
I have this thing where I fall asleep during movies, and I have a really hard time getting through a full movie because of ADHD.
Yeah, and like they're very long movies.
Yeah, so I'm just like, it's not for me. Will I read the book? I mean, maybe eventually one day.
They're long.
They're just, it's just, if someone can give me like the Coles notes, I feel like I'd be really into it because I really do love like that whole like magical world bullshit. Like,
that's how I got through like high school with Coles notes.
Do you remember I used to be able to like go into like chapters and like buy Coles Notes books?
Yeah, so then you didn't have to read the real book.
So you just read the short book.
Or like No Fear Shakespeare, so you didn't have to read Shakespeare.
I've never heard of that.
It gives you Shakespeare in English, like normal words.
Oh, see, I
couldn't read normal English, and they expect me to read Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I really love Shakespeare though, so.
Not for my brain.
I'll read it.
What's going on in your life? Not like we don't see each other every day.
Every single day. I think that's like the struggle is I need to write things down. And I say this all the time. Like I had hot takes last week. Do I have hot takes this week?
I love your hot takes. No. Yeah. Do I have any hot takes? No. My brain's broken. What did I even do this weekend? You know, these are all questions I have for myself.
Do I remember? No.
No. This is what my brain's like.
Yeah.
For those listening, if you want a sneak peek. Kay and I are in the same office, which I think is going great.
I think it's going great too.
It's very collaborative. We've interviewed a lot of people in the past week.
Yeah, so we're kind of like pre-recording. I guess we pre-recorded a couple weeks worth of
we're like
episodes.
Banking a little bit.
Other than today's, we have another 2 weeks worth of episodes already recorded.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. And like all of the conversations I found were like really cool. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear all of the stuff we've been doing. What happened?
Trump thing.
Is Trump actually like arrested now?
I don't know.
Trump is in police custody. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Fuck him, man.
This
is happening right as we are.
Yeah, there's a news TV. That's crazy.
Also, fuck him, man.
Yeah, honestly.
Like,
that's crazy how many people are there. Well,
I just wonder if that's going to like cause any sort of like, I don't know, like some sort, like, cause you know, they're just fucking crazy. And
honestly, last week I was like too into TikTok and my algorithm made me sad. So I had to delete it because like the world's sad right now.
I can't.
Not a Debbie Downer, but it's really hard if you're paying attention a little bit. So I hope everyone's like taking care of themselves out there.
Delete the apps.
Delete the apps or like take a break. Like get an app that can lock you out.
You can set those timers and stuff too on your phone. So like you can be like, okay, like after like 6 o'clock, I'm not allowed to do this anymore. Or
How do you do that?
It's in your settings.
This is news to me. You're going to have to do a tutorial video and share it.
Okay. Well, I'll teach you guys how to like take social media breaks, because that's
so
one thing I've learned with my job is I got burnt out real quick. So now I just don't do social notifications like at all.
I don't have my notifications on, which is nice because like I know I should.
I have it for like group chats for Messenger because we do a lot of work stuff through Messenger.
But sometimes
like other than that, or like I have like DMs.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like for DMs, but like comments, likes, all that stuff. Like
I feel like
don't
I
care.
need to do that. Yeah, I need to turn that off.
I totally just like wiped my Instagram account the other day.
Like got rid of it?
Well, no, it's still there, but like there's no photos and my profile picture is black.
Scary.
Well, I feel like I just have so much other shit going on in my life right now that I just can't.
Yeah, I
can't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, and when I'm ready to come back, I'll come back. But like, I'm just gonna hang out on the Babes account sometimes.
Yeah, I like the Babes account. It's kind of like my go-to.
I just feel like I just felt too stressed out by it. And I'm like, this is not what social media is supposed to be. I shouldn't feel stressed out about my feed or what people are thinking about.
No.
Like when I post, like I don't want, you know what I mean? Like I don't want
the negativity.
And it's not even negativity on social media. It's outside of social media. I think I'm just too worried about what everybody else thinks of me. Oh. And I don't.
Do you feel like that's because you have a rejection sensitivity disorder?
Yes.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm working on it. And
hey,
I'm in therapy.
That's all you can do. Be in therapy.
And there's just lots of shit going on in life.
I'm going back to therapy for the first time in a long time this week.
Good.
Thursday. So probably be crying.
That's
Look
okay.
out.
I've cried like every day this week in my car.
I haven't had a Mentee bee this week yet.
So I was in the Starbucks drive-thru yesterday morning, and
she came into work crying.
I was sobbing in the Starbucks drive-thru to the point where I get up to the window and I pay for my stuff. Basil looks at me and is like, "Oh my God," runs away, and it was like, "Don't let her leave." Comes back and hands me a cake pop.
Sometimes you need a cake pop.
And I'm like, that is MVP level of like just humaning.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, I feel like, shout out to Starbucks in the King George Square. You guys are literal earth angels.
They've probably seen you cry a lot.
I cried again today. Basil was like, I am worried about you. How are you doing? And I was like, okay? Not great.
Sometimes it's good just to like check in with people, because also I find season changes are weird on my emotions. So yeah, like last week I was going through the withdrawal from my antidepressant, but I think I'm out of that, so that's good.
Yeah, you seem a little bit peppier this week.
Yeah, I haven't. My face hasn't leaked yet.
That's good.
Yeah. So brownie points, I guess. But as you told me last week, because I do cry in the episode you're about to hear, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And Kate was like, you're allowed to just cry. And I was like, am I?
Yes.
Because in elementary school, they told me I wasn't.
Yeah, this episode was kind of like super fun.
Yeah. So we have the wonderful Lindsay McAllister. Sorry, I'm bad with pronouncing last names. Who is the owner of LaLuxe Femme in Picton?
Yeah, Picton.
She was a joy. This is a long recording. Like it was an hour and a half. I was finally like, hey guys, we have to wrap it up.
And we probably could have talked for hours. Like, she's just so easy to talk to and just so wonderful.
She came in and it was like
immediately
it was just an easy conversation, and I really enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah, and just like probably now one of my other favorite people.
Yeah, she's a gem, and I really enjoy what she's doing. So should we just let them listen?
Here's the episode.
Enjoy.
Today we're talking to a Quinte Transplant who is a self-proclaimed curvy lady who loves traveling, eating, and shopping. She's also a dog mom to 2 cute puppers and a plant mom to many. She has a degree from Queen's University for psychology and continued on to attend George Brown College for assaulted women and children's counselor and advocate, which is essentially a feminist social work school. Snaps to that. She's been and continues to be an advocate for curvy girls and plus-size women on social media. She turned her social media presence into a business in Picton, too. She's recently opened LaLuxe Femme, a plus-size sustainable clothing and accessory store for XL and beyond. LaLuxe Femme prides themselves on curating fashion designers and accessory brands who believe in using eco-friendly, sustainable practices that pay their employees a sustainable living wage, are size inclusive, and are also women, people of color, and or LGBTQIA plus owned small businesses. Babes of Quinte, please welcome Lindsay McAllister, badass curvy queen who's a member of the magical 2SLBG2 alphabet mafia.
It's so long now.
I can't keep up.
Oh my
Community
goodness.
and the owner of LaLuxe Femme in Picton.
Did you see? Hi. Did you see that TikTok where it was like made it sound like French, like Legibitiqua or
Oh,
something?
maybe I need
was
to
like,
do that.
Oh, we should just say that, Legibitiqua.
Last year, I think around Pride, I was like writing something for it, and then I had to like go message on my queer friend, like part of the alphabet, and I was like, "What are we saying? What are we doing right now? Like what?" And they're like, "Well, I say like LGBTQ 2S plus like I can't. I feel bad, but I can't even keep up."
No. Yeah.
It's a
our
hard
news
one.
director, every time he does something on Pride or whatever, he comes and talks to like me and Katie. He's like, "Are we saying this right? Are we being like?" And I'm
He's
like,
so great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He was
it's
like-
hard
really
to
don't
keep
know.
up.
He was like, "Do you call Jeanette your partner or your wife?" I was like, "I call her my boyfriend." And he was like, "Well, I'm not gonna do that." I was like, "Okay,
Fine.
fine, we don't have to."
I'm like, it's the intention behind it.
Yeah,
That I
it's very
totally
kind.
agree with you. That
You
it's
know,
the
like-
intention and like the willingness to explain. Like when I was first in social work, I would call myself queer, but all of my board members like were a lot older than me.
Yeah.
So we had some conversations and it was so interesting because I left 7 years later. Like I was there for a long time. So we, you know, became close and by the end they were referring to themselves the same way. So,
Yeah.
you know, like you say, your intention and like having patience and kindness, like that's the key. That's what really
Yeah,
matters.
you don't have to
know?
get it right every
Yeah.
single
No.
time. It's whether or not it's being used in a malicious way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or if it's like you're genuinely like just like.
I even had to educate my parents because like even from their generation, queer was almost like derogatory.
Yes.
But I think it's been reclaimed, and so I identify as queer just
Yeah.
because it's more like an umbrella term.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, it's day to day. And so it was like having to educate my parents, being like, "No, it's not a bad word.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. Yeah.
You're not in trouble, I swear."
Yeah, like yesterday I was at my parents' house and I called myself a bitch, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "No, it's cool. I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can be a bitch sometimes. It's cool. It's
There's
like
a
the
really-
whole, like,
yeah.
reclaiming of things.
Yeah.
I love reclaiming words.
I think it's called the Bitch Manifesta, and it's like you would want to be called a bitch after you read this like poem or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm like independent, strong. I have my own mindset. All of those
Yeah.
things that you would want to be. Realistically,
I feel like I'd rather be called a bitch than being called bossy because like growing up I was always called bossy just because I was like hard-headed, but it was like a mean little thing they called girls. They're like, "You're
Yes.
bossy." I'm like, what if I was a boy?
Yeah.
Then I'd just be like a
Boy.
leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be a leader.
Oh,
I hate
yeah.
that
So
shit.
yeah, I'm a bitch. Figure it out.
Okay, so I want to like talk about the first time I actually met you.
Yeah.
Which is like totally random.
It
It was, for context, it was 2020.
It was still 2020.
That was last year, right?
Basically. And there is a plant shop opening on Dundas. I can't remember the name of her shop now. It's like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a succulent place.
It was, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it had botanicals in the name, but it was cute. Now I can't remember either.
I'll look it up. You guys keep
Yeah.
talking.
Okay.
Anyways,
Wait, where was it?
it's on Dundas West.
Okay.
I think she's still there.
Okay.
But yeah, so she was having her like opening, and I knew that she had the variegated heart ones.
Yes, the string of hearts.
The string of hearts, which I still have in my window. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go to this. But I also had Lincoln, and he was like, still a babe.
Yeah.
He was like under maybe 10 months old. So I was like standing in line with like 3 other people, and you were in line with
I
me.
got there first. I was very serious.
It was like 8:30 in the morning in like
What
October.
day was this? A Saturday?
No, it was like a Tuesday.
Oh, I love that. Is it
Yeah.
called Sun Worship Second?
That's
Got
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
and no, it was like a random day of the week, and I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna take Kate to school. It was definitely during the week. I'm gonna take Kate to school. Dropped her off at like 8:10 or whatever, I'm like, I took Lincoln to the park, swang in the swings, went to a plant shop, and I met you because we were talking. I can't remember what we're talking about.
Had you guys talked before that, or was that like your first?
No, I didn't even know who she was.
Yeah.
And then all these things started like coming into place. It was like I was on Instagram and I was just like following a bunch of people. I'm like, wait, you're married to her. I know her.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah. So full context.
Lindsay is married to one of... You're married, right?
Well, I mean, that's fun. Not legally, but we definitely just say that.
It. It's so much easier, honestly.
I screwed up and got married before, so I still need to deal with that legal divorce.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and I'm just like petty, and I really just want him to deal with it instead of me. So we'll see until my ex deals with it, and yeah.
So did you have like a ceremony?
Yeah, we did like a little like kind of elopement proposal scenario in Mexico, like, and it was very sweet, and the server had never been involved with one, so he was like the cutest as well. Just like how excited he got. He's like, can I take some pictures? Like so cute. So yeah, it's just like we did it our way, and then what we do is every year we take the dogs to the water. I get to get a new white dress, like because I didn't get a big one. I can spend like the money every year, and then we just do like what is like essentially a hand binding ceremony. I'm Irish Celtic, so like that makes sense. But I like the water better than like actually us trying to wrap it up. So it's just kind of a combine of like a bunch of different traditions and what we think is cute, and it's like it, you know what I mean, owning a house together is way more serious than a lot of these other commitments, so we feel like we're married, you know.
So it's Squiggy for those who don't know. He's pretty great. He was one of like our first guests,
early,
which
right?
was like thank you.
Yeah. I was like, who can we interview that is going to say yes?
Who doesn't work here?
And I was like,
he came through. Yeah, you two. I just really enjoy your love, and I feel like you're keeping it real, which I like.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, you sometimes see those like intense posts of like, oh, I love them so much, and then it's like not really feeling authentic when they're together. So we try to be honest, like, you know, we struggle like everyone else. Yeah. And I think it's important to put that out there. Like, you know, the couples that I looked up to once I figured out that maybe it shouldn't be my parents, were like that. We're like honest about, you know, what was going on in their lives, and that it wasn't always perfect, and sometimes it's rough, but they were committed together for years and years and years, and had lots of similar interests and worked on projects together, and that's what matters.
You do a renovation together, or you're in it for the long run, like, let me tell you.
That's into the store right there. The boutique, like, we had to paint it. We didn't full reno it, but we definitely had to paint it, and we did not really technically give ourselves enough time. And
I'm bad at time estimating, so I get it.
Yeah, time management, not my priority. Like, not my strong suit.
I think with the ADHD, it was like we really had to set the date, because it was like if we don't just make it a date, then
you're going to keep pushing it.
Yeah. And then my autism noticed that there was like, I think it was like 12 to 12, 20. Like there was a bunch of numbers that were cute together. I was like, oh my God, we have to be open that day.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that was when we set the timeline, and then it was like, okay, we've got to paint, we've got to put these shelves up, and making it through, especially when like one or two shelves, like, oh, okay, they're not actually holding the clothes up very well.
Oh my God, no.
Like what happened that was a bit chaotic, you know, like, okay, we definitely need some stronger, like, God, I don't even know the term, like the anchors or whatever in the wall. Yeah.
You like learn it. I feel like people think when you own a business, it's like, they come in, they see the finished product, or like, but it's never really finished, and there's always things you're trying to work out, and like people are like, you're doing so great, and you're like, but am I?
No, I'm struggling all the time.
I'm struggling. So.
Oh yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Thank you, and like I'm really proud of it, and really grateful to Robin for his help as well. And it's just like it was a lot of work, and now it's kind of like the fun part, except for paperwork days. Like,
it's so boring.
But
also,
it's mostly fun.
No, doing bookkeeping when we were on the farm, I was like, I'm so bored. Why does none of this balance?
Yes. Yeah. It just like, I just like put a whole folder of like all the receipts and like deal with it as infrequently as humanly possible, which is, you know, once a month, probably.
I remember when we were on the farm, like, I was really bad at remembering. We mostly did like wholesales with people I knew. So they'd be like, Katie, you forgot to send me an invoice. I'm like, it's coming. And then one person like shaded me. They were like, oh, I just send mine like right after sitting in the car. I'm like, that'd be great if I had the attention span to do that, but I have so many other things going through my mind, so I'm gonna do it 2 weeks later.
Well, I love when neurotypical people try to suggest stuff to us, and it's just like, oh yeah, like a list. Oh yeah, I never thought of a list.
I have so many lists.
I try to text myself the list. I try to like voicemail a list. No, I'm just not checking the list. Is the problem?
I have 15 different lists on the go at all times. I have one for me, my sister, and my daughter. I have one for work. I have one for volunteering. I have there's many lists.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There's too many goddamn lists.
There's too many lists. I don't know. Someone tell me how to make a list work properly.
Is there an ADHD app that like
there must be?
And like I have Notion. It's like one of the best I've ever used, but I still got bored of it because it had little clicky boxes, so it actually like check
I like that.
Yeah, it's got to have a checkbox, obviously. But I still got bored of it.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
Yeah. And it was for my social media, so it should have even been fun, but I was still like, just text myself. That's better, probably.
The struggle.
I'm using like GoodNotes on the
What's
iPad.
that?
Yeah.
And you can literally like customize
I want to do that. Make it look cute.
Like pink.
Yeah. That's what I was
So
like.
mine's currently pink, and I have like a...
Is this only on iPads, or can I get it on my phone?
I don't know.
Okay. I think it works on anything, but it's just that it takes up like, because it's like a calendar.
Oh, so it takes up a lot. Okay.
It just might be awkward on a phone, I think.
Like zoom in and like make things look, you can write things pretty.
I like that.
And like you can put stickers in it and like little like post-it note type things. It's honestly, I'm just like obsessed with making everything cute and pink
I really
right now,
need to do that. I really do need to do
highly
that.
recommend.
I think that would be
I'll send you a freebie thingy.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, there's this planning girl that I follow, and she makes like cute things for like digital planners.
Yeah.
And she has like a whole freebie section.
I would like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I'll just have to figure out how to work it, because I am like an elder millennial, so sometimes I'm like, oh.
I got you.
People are always like, are you a Gen Z? I'm like, nah. I don't understand that, but still struggling.
I wish I did, man. Like my niece is supposed to maybe come and do some hours with me, and I'm like, oh man, the social media tips.
Oh yeah.
Like just take my social media and run with the Gen Z-ness of it.
I told my daughter the other day, I was like, because she doesn't use Instagram. She has an account, doesn't use it. She uses Snapchat.
They're Snapchatters.
But she has a Visco account.
What's that?
It's basically Instagram, but it was like originally meant to like just like photo editing, like filters and stuff. But there's a feed on it now, and so she posts that feed like every so often. And I'm like, Kate, you know, you could be a very successful influencer. Like you're very good at like making like photos and like content creation.
Does she want to do ours?
Her response was, I know.
I think that's the thing. Like these Gen Zs have like, I think they were built up. They got what we didn't get. They got like the you're doing great. Yeah. Try your best. We got like the you're dumb and be better. And so it's just like constant anxiety and like rejection.
The self-confidence in my child and her best friend is unbelievable, and I love it. Yeah. But like, she puts me in my place.
Even like
the way they look at you sometimes is great.
She intimidates me. Like, you'll bring her to things. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, don't bully me, please. You're really cool.
Please think I'm cool. I think you're really cool. Please think I'm cool.
Yeah. Like, oh, God.
It's a constant struggle.
Don't tell her I said that. Oh my God, that's so uncool.
Yeah. No, I found out what Riz meant the other day.
What does it mean?
Me sitting here like, what?
Yeah. No,
I found a TikTok. I'll share it. And it's like millennial words we had and then the Gen Z equivalent so we can understand like what they're saying.
It's the short form of charisma.
Is it?
So which makes way more sense.
Is it lit? No. What is our equivalent? I don't know.
I do remember when my sister started shortening everything and I was already in university and found it like very frustrating. I was like, what word are you saying to me?
We're abbreviating things. Oh my God,
honestly,
the struggle.
And it's like, I feel like now I'm at the point where it's like, okay, like I'm very not cool anymore. Like I wanted to be like the cool mom, like
you're cool.
Like, girls, like I'm the cool mom, but like not like so cool that it's like I'm
weird.
gonna let you like be weird. Like
I get that.
But no.
I I feel like my mom was a cool mom, but also like I was scared shitless. Like if like she could lay down the law if she had to. Like she let me have like pretty free range, but like if I messed up, I knew.
I still have aunt coolness where I can like say maybe one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to reserve it for like the most important thing, like some kind of, you know, like I don't know. I'm pretty progressive. It'd be like, make sure you have Narcan if you're gonna do drugs. Or something, you know?
Like if you need any like tips to do drugs safely, let me know.
Yeah, I'm here. I'll source it for you so it's safe.
Yeah,
like,
I think everyone needs that aunt.
I'll buy you condoms. I'll take you to get an abortion.
I have done the abortion thing for many people in social work times. Like that's not a problem.
We got you.
Yeah.
The Family Dental Center is calling all prom goers and brides to be. In addition to classic and restorative dentistry, they offer cosmetic treatments including whitening.
Whether you want to impress your prom date or wow a wedding guest, a bright white smile is a must-have.
The Family Dental Center has 2 forms of teeth whitening to help you achieve a sparkling smile.
The in-office Zoom whitening is completed by one of their skilled dental hygienists and takes about an hour. You can relax, scroll, or even listen to your favorite podcast, as whitening gel and blue light technology whitens your teeth to their optimal brightness.
Too busy or too anxious sitting for a long period? Try the take-home Zoom whitening kit. This is a great option for sensitive teeth. A custom-made tray and the use of a whitening agent at home for 2 to 4 weeks will gradually whiten your teeth to achieve a dazzling smile.
For more information on the FDC teeth whitening options, go to FamilyDentalCenter.com and navigate to the Cosmetic Treatment tab or tap the link in our show notes. Hey babes, are you looking to elevate your spiritual journey, or do you like having crystals and boho decor in your home?
Or do you want to stand in a giant sound bowl and see what that's like? I truly want to stand in the sound bowl.
Whether you're a spiritual junkie looking to find some calm or want to chat with a super amazing lady, Angelic Serendipity is the place to check out.
Andrea, the owner and operator, is a fun-loving babe who left the corporate banking world in the big city to find a slower-paced life in Trenton over a decade ago.
The store carries crystals, tarot cards, oracle books, incense, boho clothing and decor, sound bowls, and so much more.
Head into Angelic Serendipity to learn, explore, and shop the wonderful inventory. Located at 2 King Street, Trenton by Liberty Tax.
For amazing Angelic Serendipity content, follow the store on Facebook at Angelic Serendipity and on Instagram at angelic.serendipity_.
How long were you in social work, and then what made you take the lead? Like, when did you leave?
Yeah, that's actually, it really does relate back to all the conversations about autism and ADHD, actually, because I was in anti-poverty for about 7 years, then in women's shelters for like 6, I would say. So obviously like exhausting work. But like the burnout, and then what actually just broke me was them asking me to be in an office that wasn't my office 1 day a week. And now I know it was autism, but at the time I was just like, nope. And I like left and was just like, yeah, no, I can't, and went into content creation, and then, you know, obviously taking a different route now. Like, content creation is fun, but it's not super like reliable either. And social work, like, it's, you know, there's some really important moments in my life where people have been really grateful for my help that I'll never forget, and that matters. But there's lots of other people who can do that work too. Yeah,
it's also very hard.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I feel like too, in that line of work, you have to like be like, my time's up. I'm tagging someone else now.
Yeah. And I really hope for the movement that like more people do that, because I actually think like part of my frustration was not being able to like be as progressive as I was taught to be. So with the new generation being even more progressive than we are, like I just think we need to almost like get out of their way, quite frankly. So honestly, I'm like excited to see what happens. I think they'll be better than us. You know, they've grown up with like much more therapy speak, like the understanding of it. So I just think they're going to be able to be more resilient maybe than we are. And at the same time, like if they want to get out of it after like 10, 12 years too, go for that. Like everyone can move on. There's always going to be new people ready to take on the role. So like big advocate for like take care of yourself. Don't there's someone else who can do it. Community advocacy is important, but we do need to leave that space for like, I need a break.
Yeah.
Because you end up with the person in the room who is critical of everything, and like I was gonna become that person pretty soon. Yeah. And it's one thing if you can like, if you're saying like, oh, you know, like we're having the event here and this is my criticism, but I think it's still the best place and let's proceed. Yeah. We're just noting that like, you know, maybe it's not accessible to this group or whatever. Yeah. It's quite another when you just complain about everything and have no solutions and no ability to move on. Yeah. And I feel like that really happens in activist communities sometimes. For sure. And unfortunately, like the not progressive side, Squiggy probably said this. Look, I called him his nickname. He's going to be so thrilled.
Oh, do you not use that?
Do you Robin? Yeah. I find that with partners because my brother's friend, her nickname's Roadhouse, and then her husband will call her Alicia, and I'm like, what? Who's that?
Who's that? Yeah. So, but yeah, we like definitely talk about how like the other side is very united even when they disagree about stuff, and we just fight a little bit too much over on our side. So I'm really like an advocate for like believing the best of people, assuming that they were attempting their best, you know? So like we were talking about earlier with the LGBTQA, you know, they asked, so they want to do the best. Like the bad people wouldn't ask and just be like the gays or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they'd be, you'd know.
Yeah, you know, there's a vibe.
Obvious. Yeah. I felt it where somebody called me queer after I said queer, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, not from your mouth. No, actually, I'd prefer, no, thanks.
No, it's like, it's like white people saying the N-word.
Yeah, yeah. You don't, sometimes it's awkward.
You just can't.
Yeah, it's...
like, that's a hard no for me, obviously, but, like, with queer, I think it's, like, it really, you can tell... I don't know. There's something in the tone of voice that feels like,
it's
whoa,
like
you're using it like a slur. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't...
I hate the R word.
The R word.
Oh, I hate,
I can't.
I know people who still use that one. It's so awkward. I swear I like literally jerk.
I know. I feel like though it is like the education of like, okay, well, this is like passe now. So let's.
Well, and it's just like.
And it's pretty recent. So like when I worked in social work, I did work for like community living. I did some programs around like roles and responsibilities and like essentially teaching people with intellectual disabilities like the differences between their friend and their social worker, for example. You know, who do you give a hug to? Who do you shake hands with? That kind of thing. And one of the things that occurred in that building is this area of education where they showed you that like in the 1990s, that's how they still received their grant funding under the R word. Like that's what everything was called.
Ooh. Some stuff is still like recent. in and we learned this when Nikki was on giving us like Indigenous education. Like it's still called the Indian Act, and that's, but you should not call people and it's just only educating yourself on those things. Yeah. I have a friend who's Indigenous and also a lawyer, and so it's like she has to use that language. Like it is the language of law, you know? And it's not necessarily comfortable, but it is what is required under the current scenario, you know? And so that's the same thing. Like they were already over the word, but that's how they had to apply, you know? It's less significant, but like when I was still in the field, like you'd still do applications and you'd have to write domestic violence, even though we were calling it intimate partner violence for like years already. Like taking I didn't know this was what is this for? Tell us this. So we generally use the like intimate partner violence because domestic implies that you live together. It's actually not the majority. So a huge part of like intimate partner violence is the sort of 15 to 25. They're a huge risk group, and they don't always live together. In fact, probably a lot don't, the high school group in particular. So it just took that away from like it has to be something that happens at home. Also removing the we'll deal with it at home mentality. Yeah. Like, no, it's something that happens in a relationship, but it's not something that you need to keep secret and at home, you know? This is something that you don't need to be ashamed of. You can talk openly about. We also felt like it really referred to, like, spouse.
in a heteronormative way.
Yeah.
So we felt like intimate partner. And I say we, but I mean like the whole movement, like thousands of people.
No, that's
you know?
true though. Yeah, it is very heteronormative.
So it felt like it was more inclusive as well.
Oh, I'm going to start using that. Yeah.
Yes, but so like it's just interesting how like you say legibitiqua, like all these terms change, and I mean at this point, it has been a long time since I was in school, but like a lot has changed for me too, you know. So I understand when people are like just trying to do their best and like make a mistake. The key is like say I'm sorry, move on. Actually, don't make a big freaking deal about it. And
I think it's more
do better.
Yeah.
People get offended and I'm like, oh no, I'm not saying this to like.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like take a moment. This is an education moment. You don't need to be, people get like so defensive and it's like, you know, it's just a moment. And now you know.
I would prefer people
to tell me,
like 100%, like at any point, like.
Well, because I made a mistake on our Instagram, like without thinking. And then my friend, like just reached out and was like, hey, by the way, I'm not sure who posted it. I was like, oh my God, I knew that, but it just like slipped my mind. And so I deleted it, but it's just like recognizing the mistake and like being accountable for it.
Yeah, exactly. And being willing to say I'm sorry and like do what will make it better. You know, whether it's deleting it or like in the context of social work, a lot of the time it was sort of publicly saying something because you know, if somebody says something offensive, it's like, I get that it's nicer for the person who said the offensive thing to be pulled off to the side. But like in the case of, say, racism or something, it actually can't just sit in the room.
Yeah.
No.
You need to actually say like, oh, yeah, that's a problem. We're not going to permit that kind of discussion in this room. Here's why. No, you know, everyone's learning. It's okay. Like still from that call-in perspective. But I just have the feelings about when it gets left over there. You know, same with like fat phobia. I think it's like really important that we not leave it in the room. Like, so your friend is like saying, oh my God, I feel so fat. And maybe you're the thin person in the room. That would be really cool for you to say, oh, like we don't really talk about our bodies like that, actually.
I remember.
So that the fat person doesn't necessarily have to do it. Like that would be clutch.
A moment I was traveling with friends and a very slim friend, like very slim, kept being like, oh, I feel so fat, like on this trip. And I finally had to be like, I really need you to stop. Like one, I struggle with disordered eating like in the past, but I was like, I need you to stop because if you're saying you're fat at this point, like what am I?
Exactly.
Like I don't, we can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what got me, for me, is like when people like veil fatness with health.
Yes, exactly.
So like I had a partner for a while and they were like, oh yeah, like, you know, once we both get healthy. And I'm like, okay. So then I rapidly lost 80 pounds.
Which is not healthy. Yeah. Specifically not healthy.
And it was difficult because I was like, okay, so now I'm smaller, but I don't feel any better about myself.
Yes.
Because it was never about my body.
Nope.
No.
The one thing, I think I say this, I've said this before, like some people listening will be like, oh, she's said that before. But I can promise you one thing, like it's the only thing possibly I can promise you in life, but that whatever you're seeking through a diet, you're gonna get it through like body positivity, fat acceptance, that kind of like learning to love yourself as you are. Yeah. Like, it's a promise. That's how strongly I feel about that statement. Now, like, there's going to be people who will, like, argue because they didn't actually go hard enough down that route. And they're like, it didn't work for me. I still hate myself or whatever. Yeah. But, like, I had an eating disorder. I pursued, like, straight-size modeling for years. I'm actually, like, considered when they talk about the statistics of, like, 95% of diets fail, they technically count me in the 5% of the success rate. So just to break down how bad that means that statistic actually is, because I kept it off for 7 years.
Oh, my God.
So once you go past 5 years, they stop tracking you.
Oh, my God.
So that 90, even though, like, that's an abysmal success rate to begin with. 95% of diets fail, and some of that 5% includes people like me who did eventually regain the weight, and technically more. And I don't want to focus too much on that because it feels very fat phobic for me. But like the most common consequence of dieting is that you'll actually gain more weight in the long run. Yeah. So like all around, pretty bad for your health. And then like statistically, people who are a little bit heavier do technically live longer. Like there's a lot of evidence that like
I'm preparing
this health
to hibernate.
thing is complete
quote, unquote.
BS because we are actually healthy. Like never once. The only thing my doctor ever says is like eat more healthy fats, but she doesn't tell me to eat less bad fats either. You see what I'm saying? Like
I feel like you have a good doctor.
Yes. They're very, very understanding. They're not fat phobic. You know, I mean, I think it helps when you advocate for yourself. I went right in like, I have an eating disorder. Don't ask me to stand on the scale.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I just learned too is like,
you don't have to be.
I will stand on the scale. You can ask to not
Turn
see
around.
the number, or I'll just like look up because I don't. Why am I going to cry today? I don't like to stand on the scale.
It's awful. It's a bad experience.
Why am I crying?
Because it's traumatic.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially when you come out of being like, okay, you have to be, you know, like a certain number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
that
like,
number
but
is
you know what?
nuts.
The number's stupid because I remember in high school, I was like, like 115 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, once you hit 120, you're fat.
What?
That was the thing. And I'm just kind of like, okay, wait. So then, you know, I get into my 20s, I'm like 150 pounds. And I think that is fucking whale territory.
Yeah.
And it's like, realistically, 150 pounds is probably underweight for most people.
Especially at like certain heights, right?
Yeah. When I got like bigger quickly, like as a child, I stress ate. So, I was just a big kid. I hit one. Why am I crying so much today? I'm so sorry.
No, there's nothing wrong.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I
am coming off my antidepressants. So there's a lot of emotions.
That does make sense.
You know, then you're like the big kid in class.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I remember a boy saying that he wouldn't date me. I was cute, but I wasn't fat, but I also wasn't skinny.
Yeah.
But he couldn't date me because I wasn't skinny.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
That's and I walked by right as he said that, and they all just were like, and I was like, okay, great, that was about me.
Yeah, I swear we grew up in the worst time.
So
like,
bad.
for fat phobia, I swear it was.
I
like,
had kids
the
at
worst.
lunch tell me like I ate so much, and then I would just like stop eating. So I'm like, okay, that's fun, thank you.
I remember like splitting stuff with friends.
Yeah.
Like.
I remember
You know, and it's like
chips.
it already wasn't
counting,
really a meal,
measuring,
like,
no.
but we were splitting
Slim
it.
Fast. That was a good breakfast.
Mom
wasn't allowed to,
just
because
straight up hooking us up with it too.
Yeah.
Like that's the craziest part when like mom takes you to Weight Watchers and then buys you Slim Fast and ephedrine. Yep.
Wait, what's ephedrine? Like a diet pill?
Like the fen stuff that like gave everyone heart palpitations.
Did you hear about the new one that they're doing? In the States?
Because like
It's
the
like
Ozempic.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
a diabetic medication that actually makes you
So like double problematic.
and now diabetics aren't able to actually find their medication because so many
people are taking it.
this and like getting their doctors to give them these shots.
And there's a lot of side effects. It's extreme. As I understand, it's also extremely expensive, like $1,000 a month plus.
Oh wow.
So it's super privileged, and then it's still a diet. So as soon as you stop, you will regain the weight.
And aren't they
but you
in the
shouldn't be
States
on it
like
forever.
kids can go on diet pills now or something along those lines?
Yeah. So I like highly recommend the episode. Like, I mean, I pretty much just listen to the whole podcast of Maintenance Phase.
Okay.
I subscribe like to their Patreon. I really like their analysis of things. But when they talked about like these new recommendations, because it is from the medical.
Yeah.
And they just break it down. Like they're really good with their analysis and how they'll say like, you know, so these doctors are recommending weight loss drugs, weight loss surgery, despite the statistics. So they'll like recommend that you know, ask your doctor. Like, so you're recommending a plan of action that has less than a 5% success rate, you know, and like kind of tell you how to advocate for your kids. But it's pretty horrifying because like it was hard enough.
Yeah.
You know? And like, look, like my mom gave me the fen, so like she would have probably been like, yes, surgery we go, you know? And
I think too for our
risk
moms,
factors.
it was like they were in such a diet culture in like
Totally.
the 80s, and then it's ingrained into these women now who are in their like 50s,
like, a lot of
60s.
them, it's like not their fault.
No,
you know what I
it's-
mean? Like,
yeah.
it's whether or not they recognize that now.
But
I think that's the difference is like the accountability for it is not there
Yeah.
with a lot of the elder generation. As opposed to like, you know, I like my niece that tells me like, oh, body rolls are normal and things like that's so much a cooler perspective.
oh, it's so cool
right?
now.
Well,
So yeah, it's just like I get that they were traumatized, but it's like I think so were we, and yet our generation is doing better for our kids. And I just think they could be accountable. You know, obviously I'm a no contact child, so I have a very specific perspective. But I am glad that it seems that the kids now have better role models for the most part. And I'm sad that this little turn has come about. Also, like it's just the side effects. Like I really worry about the increased risk of alcoholism, drug abuse, and suicide with weight loss surgery. I mean, it literally goes back to what I said before. Everything you are trying to accomplish with dieting will be achieved better, easier, faster, and for like a more permanent, successful, long-term way with body positivity and fat acceptance than with any kind of diet.
Because
I think potentially like even more the surgery, because like you can't change your mind. Like your stomach is permanently altered with at least with the one version, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what do you do if it doesn't work, if you get sick? Like all those people that like it's never good. Yeah.
I think it's just insane. You know, I brought this up before, but everyone's about dad bods. There's not the mom bod. And like women's bodies, you naturally, as you age, start to hold weight differently. Like your body's preparing like to potentially give birth and like all these things. And you're still expected then to lose weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not natural. Like you literally... bodies change and age and grow, and like it's just so funny to me that like, you know, we like acknowledge this about like noses and ears, like it's just a thing that happens. They get bigger. Why the heck would your rest of your body like feet change sizes when you get pregnant or as you grow older? Like I think I've gone from a 9 up to a 10 now. Like there was a 9.5 for a few years in there, you know, like I don't know what's happening.
My boobs are different sizes.
Boobs are different sizes,
normal,
for
but
sure.
fuck actually making a person and then not walking out of the hospital looking like a supermodel.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Like,
I think too, and we talked about this in a past episode with Holly, like what some social media is doing, like it's very toxic. And like for some reason now I get ads all the time about, you know, like colon boom, clean your colon out, lose 15 pounds in like
somebody broke the algorithm.
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening? Like, why? And it's not like I talk about like body positivity, but that's the opposite. So I don't know why.
Also, I think it's just like, I'm so, it's like, oh, let's like do a tea cleanse or like a colon cleanse. I'm like, so you're just gonna shit yourself for a couple days and then. Yeah, obviously you're going to lose weight. Yeah. You're not actually consuming any nutrients.
Yeah, I used to work in cosmetics and I was the worst because I'd just be like, yeah, this cellulite cream, it'll totally flip and work for like 3 hours while it drains. The caffeine is going to drain, swell you, It's not permanent. It doesn't work. It's just a mirror effect. Like, no commission. But like, that's the truth, right? Like you can do some of these weird temporary things, but is that actually going to make you feel better? Or would you feel better if you just realized that like, I think cellulite is like 99% of women. I feel like that's so rare, right? That you have none on your body. Like maybe you don't have the big thigh ones that most of us have, but you have that like titty one up here or something. You know?
Oh my God. I remember
like everyone has it somewhere.
I had like pretty bad stretch marks on my thigh. Like and I never really cared. And I was getting a bikini wax once, and the woman goes, "Oh, did you grow really fast?" And I was like, no, I got fat really fast.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks for asking.
Robin just reminded me of that last night. I thought that I had replied to this lady a bit more polite, but he said that I said that because we were in Jamaica and someone said to me like, "Oh, are you like having a baby?" And I thought I said, "No, I just like ice cream," because I was eating an ice cream cone. He goes, "No, you just said, no, I'm just fat," with a big smile on your face. He's like, I loved it so much.
I think though it's meeting people with that energy, like, and then they're like, oh, like it is again like reclaiming the word. Like it's fat's been so.
I mean, and I get it like to an extent, but I don't like when people say like, "You're not fat, you're beautiful." It's a wrong vibe.
No, I'm still beautiful.
Right?
I'm just fat.
Yeah. And it's, or then and I'll say, and I'll be like, "Well, I'm literally like a size 16, 18. I can only shop in stores for plus size people. I have a visible belly and rolls on my body when I'm not bending. How else would I define my body besides fat and beautiful? Like, they're not mutually exclusive."
Absolutely not.
So stop projecting that vibe on me, you know?
I think so too. People like again, it's like the queer and stuff. Like I can call myself fat, and if you are saying I'm fat and joining the conversation, that's great. But I hate when I'm like, "Well, I'm fat," and people are like, "Oh my God, don't say that." I'm like
it's a bad word.
It's not a bad word. Like
no.
I can say I'm fat and I have fat, and that, but I'm still healthy. I'm still active. I now buy clothes that fit instead of trying to fit into too small a size.
And even if you weren't healthy and active, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I kind of like think it's like, so.
Yeah.
And I get that some people will get on the like public health care, whatever. But like actually what I'm referring to is people who maybe can never be healthy, can never work out in the way that, you know, these like fat-phobic people would want them to. Some people have a disability that prevents them from being able to go to the gym. Some people have a mental health disability. Some people have a physical disability.
I have an autoimmune disorder.
Right?
Yeah.
There's tons of reasons that mean that people, whether they take the working out of it, but like our society would just never define them as 100% healthy. And that's ableist, don't get me wrong. But we don't need to add fat phobic to it as well. Yeah. So like society's already ableist, like let's leave it there. You know, if we could fix that, that'd be great too. But like we do not need to then be fat phobic to someone that's like, you know, a lot of the time it's people who are criticized for like not being healthy enough. Like they're working 3 to 4 jobs, they're low income, they couldn't afford a gym membership, you know.
Like there's so many other factors.
Yeah, they barely sleep 6 hours. That would be the thing that would make them the most healthy, is if they had a subsidy that would allow them to not work one of those jobs and take a nap during the day. So it's just really interesting how people like frame health. When it's like, does that include mental health? Because you bullying me, making fun of me, that's not helping my mental health. Mental health is part of my physical health, you know.
Agreed.
It's really layered, and it's like,
Well, yeah, it's not like the connection between mental health and physical health is like so strong for me personally. It's like if I'm feeling sad and depressed, like I don't want to leave the house.
Yeah.
I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to do any of these things. I want to stay home.
Yeah.
Maybe eat pasta.
Yeah.
Or some ramen noodles.
Like a carb,
definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Noodles.
Noodles. All the noodles.
I was sad last week. I asked for all the noodles from Robin. He's the chef.
that.
So for the people that don't know, that's why I asked for noodles.
Yeah. No, I just want
Why not get them from the chef?
If it's like buttery and spicy noodles, I don't care if it's like Asian noodles. I just fucking love
noodles.
good noodles.
Yeah. How did your, I guess, body positivity fuel opening LaLuxe Femme?
So there's a lot of like bigger brands that were really pulling back from plus sizes. Nordstrom,
fucking stupid.
Yes, it makes no sense. Nordstrom Canada being the most recent, obviously, but like Old Navy was talking a lot, about a year and a half ago about like putting all of these clothes into stores. And then as soon as they got all their promo, they started talking about pulling them out. And
American Eagle doesn't do jeans over 20.
A lot of the
in
time,
store,
too,
right?
I find like plus size. Yeah, it's online.
It's like you can order online, but you can't try it on first.
No. And it's like an added, we were just talking about this. We were like, then it's an added step of like, okay, I have to order the pant. I have to try it on. It may not fit. Then I have to return it, try another size.
So I really wanted to have an in-person shop. Like that was a big deal for me because a lot of the other people attempting to solve the same problem, doing great work. Like I really don't think I need to be a competitor with other boutiques. I think we all sell different products. Like I really have not seen other people selling the same stuff that we sell. So like we're all in it together. We all want to provide resources to other plus size people. And I just noticed that a lot of them were online, but that the ones that I wanted to emulate, were in person. I did want to model myself a little bit after the company that's called 11 Honore, which is the high-end luxury designer plus size stuff, because I mean, honestly, that's what I prefer, if I'm just being blunt. Yeah. And I think like it sucks that there's this myth out there that we don't buy fancy things. And so like I had a cute purse collection. I had nice shoes, but I couldn't buy anything fancy for my body. And then on top of it, I am neurodivergent. So I hate the way certain fabrics feel. And I didn't know that's what it was for the longest time. But it'd be like pants off as soon as I got home. So now I'm like, okay, let me like find as many like linen, cotton dresses so I don't have to ever wear pants again. Admittedly, I'm wearing jeans today, but it's still a bit cold. So it's just like having the ability to provide additional resources and not make women who are plus size feel like they're excluded from the luxury designer sustainable movements. It's still a challenge because I'm not manufacturing yet. So like I really wanted to be size inclusive up to a 6X, and I just can't. Like until I have, more success and then the ability to manufacture, then I can do that. But right now it's like a barrier. That's a big barrier. However, I have more power now that I'm making orders than I ever did just sitting there complaining on Instagram. Not that that's not a valid part, but I'm just telling you they listen to me a bit differently now. Yeah. Because it's like, well, I'd order like $1,000 more if you had one extra size. If you had 2 extra sizes, it would be this, you know? But like... Yeah, so that's a challenge. And then I did want to offer the online option for people who can't come in because in Canada, now that we don't have Nordstrom, or won't very soon, we really did lose a pretty big option. And I mean, not that there's a ton, it only really is 11 Honore. There's in size as well that's in the US, but they've gone a bit of a different route. They're including kind of not there's polyester again in there, and so that's just different than what I want to do. And I think it's great to have options because not everyone can afford the luxury designer. Some people do need that, but I want to stay away from the polyester because that's one of the fabrics that makes my skin uncomfortable. Same. Yeah. So I guess that's my 2 sort of main focuses, the neurodivergent need for softer natural fabrics, and then the desire to have an option for people to try on plus size clothing in person, which I mean, we're in Picton, so I get that that's not ideal, but also I kind of like that it's not like Toronto or Kingston. Yeah. They already have a Torrid,
Would you ever would you ever do house calls? If people wanted, would you curate them a wardrobe and then let them try it on in their home?
You know what? I would probably refer them to someone who's better at that. Oh my goodness, I feel like her name is Hina, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce her screen name, but it's HENSIE on Instagram and TikTok. That's who I would recommend if you wanted an actual style consult, because if you're coming to my store, it's really going to lean hard feminine. Yeah. So if that's not your vibe, I'm just going to be disappointing to you. And I want you to actually like love it.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that you connect with her, and then she will maybe recommend some of my pieces, kind of thing. But what I do offer in a similar vein is like by appointment.
Yeah, that's kind of what I just feel like it's nice for people to have that.
Yes.
So badly.
So there's many reasons, as well as you don't just even need to have a reason to book an appointment. But I also wanted to put out there that like I'm willing to wear a KN95 the whole time. We also normally put scents on. Like I like an aromatherapy. If you don't want that, I can like leave it off for 24 hours before you come. We can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also like private party, if you want to like have a bottle of rosé, we can make that happen
so
too.
nice.
So yeah, it could be like a little, I feel like we missed the experience as fat girls growing up, like going in the change room with your friends.
I hated going in the change room.
You were always sitting there like telling them they looked cute in their prom
like,
dress or whatever, right? But like not for us.
I think too the traditional like going to a store and trying, I hate trying things on and I never realized why, but I think it's because one, things never fit the way I wanted them to fit, and then I get really hot and frustrated, and then I just get defeated because nothing fit and the rooms are too small. So I'm like, well, I'm done. And like my mom's always like, just try it on, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, I hated the it's that store that has all the mean girls in it too. That's like
Aritzia?
Yes, where you have to come out for the mirror. Oh my goodness, stop.
I don't want to.
So our change room is like it's like because our store, our boutique, is essentially, it used to be an apartment. So the bedroom, the whole bedroom is one change room.
Love that.
So you're not like you know what I mean?
Space.
Yeah. There's no like I am so clumsy. I have not fallen over all the way. You know what I mean? It's like no. And we have a big couch, so like you could even have two friends.
Oh,
or
that's
like
nice.
I again like my social work head comes into play. So like we were always taught your chairs are accessible to people with disabilities if they have arms, to people who are fat if they don't have arms. So I went to the couch because I thought, okay, there's an arm on one side and space on the other. Hopefully this works for both, you know?
Yeah.
So I really want to make it like, unfortunately, it's not an accessible building, but as accessible as possible to people. You could definitely come in a walker, but the wheelchair would be a challenge, which unfortunately is just like the worst part of small towns.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get like a portable ramp.
Oh, that'd be
So
cool.
what doesn't work in the winter apparently, but I'm trying to get something for the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like really unfortunate that because I'm pretty passionate about that.
But
so
I feel like you have so many lenses to look at this from owning being a fat girl, from your social work lens, from inclusivity, like you are helping people be set up for like the best possible experience.
I certainly hope so. Like, and I think just the fact that you know, don't have to kind of guess if it's in your size for the most part, that you can probably size up if it doesn't fit. You know, like a lot of stores don't allow that opportunity. And yeah, I want it to be like a enjoyable experience, not, you know, I'm sweaty, I'm hot, I want to be
My God,
gone.
I get so sweaty in stores.
I
it's
didn't realize
insane.
that other people also got sweaty in
so
stores
sweaty,
until
like
this moment.
I also come from like a real
So
sweaty
much.
family.
So sweaty. I'm like a little bit sweaty right now.
Yeah,
and I'm just sitting here.
It's hot in this room, so I'm so
This
sorry.
room is also really weird with this temperature.
Like we fight over the thermostat because my dad and I sit on the same side of the office and we both run hot, but then Jill, who works in traffic, runs cold. So like I'm always like we're just back and forth turning it up and down.
Yeah, that's hard. It's like, oh, yeah. I know, like I have the worst. I have one of those weird systems that's like, it's never a good temperature. It's either blowing and it's hot, or it's not on and 5 minutes later it's freezing cold. Like I don't understand it.
It's like this whole building.
Yeah, but I'm told that it's going to be better. That the air conditioning works well. It was just the heat that doesn't work on mine. And then I want to get one of those like fancy Dyson fans for the change room.
I like that.
Yeah.
They're so
Are they? Okay, that's good that it's worth it because I heard that like the hair thing is not actually worth
You
it.
can get
but I kind of want it
a
still,
cheaper one
so.
called the Shark, and it does just as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some things it's like I want you in theory, but I am not willing to pay the price that
I'm
you
not willing
are.
to pay $700 for a hair.
No, there's
dryer.
one called the Shark, and I follow someone on TikTok who I'm obsessed with, and she has really
does
curly
work.
hair, and she
Nice.
did a whole
especially if
review
they're
on-
curls.
Yeah, so
Because that's what I was worried about is like, what's it going to do up here? I don't know.
I don't know.
I also never blow dry my
Me
hair.
neither. I get hot again. I get hot.
Yeah, right? I'm just like, why? Okay, so I just like got out of the shower. I feel good. I feel fresh.
Yeah.
You know, I feel clean. And then I'm going to blow dry my hair and
Yeah.
get sweaty again? Like,
Do you know what
fuck
my
that.
family calls like when you get out of the shower, like you're clean and then you start sweating again? You're like, oh, my shower didn't take. Like I'll come out, and especially if there's no air conditioning, like at the cottage, there's no air
worst.
conditioning, and it'll be hot. I'm like, fuck, the shower didn't take, guys. We're doing our best.
Back in the apartment days, I'd have to like I'd be trying to stand close enough to like the portable air conditioner, but you couldn't actually get close because the hairdryer needed to be on like a different plug section.
Yeah. So you didn't like fuck up the
Last year in the summer, I was like, again, burnt out, and it was so hot in our house we were living in, and I just like broke down on the floor, and Jeanette's like, what's wrong? I was like, I'm so hot.
Just the overstimulation of it all.
I need to. So she brought our like portable air conditioning, and just like, I was like, thank you.
I just, for the first time in my adult life, bought an air conditioner like 2 years ago. And it is the best money I have ever spent.
yeah.
Ever. I'm like, I never want to do a summer without AC ever again.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I am too sweaty for that shit. Also,
I
that's
just thought of another question about your
Yeah.
store. So, for instance, like I'm like an intermediate size, which is quite frustrating.
Yeah.
If I liked like something you had online, could I ask you to order like
Yes.
a smaller size?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. I would ask for a deposit on
Yeah,
those
yeah.
items just because I won't be able to resell it in store.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I definitely, like, especially if it is listed there, ask. Sometimes it's because the manufacturer's
Yeah.
out of stock that I haven't been able to get, like, I don't know, I'm thinking of my raincoat right now is sold out in my size. I can't actually order it.
Yeah.
That's so frustrating. But like a lot of the time it'll just be that the minimum order is a bit higher. So I was trying to wait a little bit longer, but if you want it now, we
Yeah.
can make it work, you know?
Okay.
And then, I do find that like there are a lot of women who are like tall that fit the extra large. Like they wouldn't maybe embrace the word fat or plus
Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
But technically, like, we're selling what you are looking
Yeah.
for. And so I like think that could be really cool actually if they start shopping. It's almost like ally vibes.
Yeah.
Like you're on the other side. You could like advocate, you know?
Yeah.
And then I have gotten a few people that didn't ask in quite that kind of a way, but were just kind of like mad that I don't carry small sizes. And I mean I don't care. I have a
don't
TikTok
care,
to
yeah.
the song that is the I don't care, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. But it's like, honestly, what I would suggest is that you advocate to the stores that don't have plus sizes because I promise when every store is inclusive, so will I be.
Yeah.
But right now I'm going to exist to target the 68%. And this is like interesting because this statistic is pre-pan. So it's like 68% were size 14 and above pre-pandemic. But the average person gained 1 to 2 dress sizes during the pandemic. So it's pretty likely that, like, I mean, just statistic plus statistic, not a new study, admittedly. Like, I do have a psych, you know what I mean? Like, I understand correlation, causation, etc. But, like, it's fascinating that that's likely now a 16, 18. So that's more like a 1X, actually, which is definitely my most popular size, for sure. That is the majority of the population, and yet most stores do not. Like, that just seems odd to me. It's like a bad business decision. Like, why would I target 30% of the population instead of 70% of the
People hate
population?
fat people.
That's it, right? It is fat phobia. It is.
When there's a little bit of chunk, it like just.
Oh my
everything's
goodness.
Just better.
I'm just saying.
When I was skinny, it hurt. We're not saying more than that, but we know what we are
Yeah.
talking about. That was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
Yeah.
You need a little cushion for the push-in.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
I remember I taught my friend that.
Everyone's body type or anything,
Yeah.
but that's, for me, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, that's so funny. I remember I taught my friend that. I was like, you just got a little more cushion for the push. And she was like, I was like, I've been saying that since I was like 12. But not that I was doing it when I was 12, but
didn't
like
understand exactly
I didn't
what
get
I
it,
meant,
but I was really trying to like own being a chunky girl.
Really actually set into what that means until like right.
Oh my God, that like it reminds me a little bit of the whole like worry about drag shows and stuff.
Oh my God, don't get us going on this.
Were we not singing multiple songs like Cream by Prince and by the other, like I'm losing
Liquid
my mind.
Dreams,
just like
by O-Town
song. Oh my, if you get down on me, that
I'll
one.
get
or-
down.
and then the-
Oh, it's before 4.
That's the
You are the star of my life.
Fucking Madonna, Like a Prayer is about giving a blowjob.
Yes,
10 out of 10.
I'm singing it like it's actually about the Catholic Church that I actively attend at the time.
No.
Like,
No.
if there's something that's sending me to hell, it's probably that moment. Not all the times I've gone to a drag show.
No. I love this. I just need everyone to realize you have been being entertained by drag for years. Also, drag is literally just like an elevated musical theater because they're killing it and slaying. So I can't with it. Like the fact
so
that
odd.
drag is now illegal in Tennessee yesterday, I was like, what's next? They're gonna make being gay illegal. Like we're going back in time.
I think the first time someone asked me if my niece had a boyfriend, she was 2 years old.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
So
It's super fucking weird.
No.
People are so quick to sexualize little girls.
it's so creepy.
It's so fucking weird, and it's disgusting.
And I remember being like, I think I just said like, well, I don't know if it would be a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but she seems a little bit young, like just kind of flippant about it. But like, yeah, like it's just so odd that they think that like this is the brainwashing when like we grow up in like a heterosexist society. That is the brainwashing.
And I think the thing
you
for me,
know?
like growing up, not being able to come out or understand what was going on, why I had these feelings, why like
just the
for long
confusion.
periods of time, I'd be like, no, I don't have a crush on anyone. And I'd be like, no, I don't have a crush on a boy right now. Thank you.
I had a crush on cartoon characters. Me, it was like Sailor Moon, Jessica Rabbit.
Good choices.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Kim Possible, baby. Get at me. But yeah, it's just like if I knew like drag culture earlier and I got obsessed with drag before I was like had quote unquote come out, but then it's just like it's so fun. And it's why not teach kids that they can express themselves any way they would like.
In a very healthy way. Like
That's the thing. Like, it's not as if some of the jokes that occur at the nighttime events where there's drinking involved are happening at the daytime.
No,
story
it's
time.
so different. Yeah.
No. And it's quite frankly, like, I mean, I worked at a library for like a year doing the children's program back in those social work days. I mean, I probably said some like very progressive stuff beyond just reading the book too.
Yeah.
It kind of comes back to the store, which is like, it's called LaLuxe Femme because femme is a queer identity.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not a form of drag?
Yeah.
I'm literally choosing which like gender identity I want to present myself as. Yes, it feels inherent to me, but like I don't really know what's, you know what I mean? Because it's like I'm saying, we're growing up in a society that teaches us to be racist, homophobic, etc., right? So how much of that is because I am plus size and I feel the need to be hyper feminine so that people don't, like, quite frankly, I experience less fat phobia. You know, I think part of that's my autism just being like, whoa, I don't know what they just said to me, clueless.
What are you saying?
know? But
Thank you for the compliment.
yeah. Somebody at the store, like, are you sure you fit the extra large? I'm just like, yeah, it's great. I love it. And then I realized later, like,
I was like, oh, that's me.
constant.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying to Kate
Like, how do
yesterday
you
too,
do
like
things?
Jeanette and I just went to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And like even before I went, I was getting my hair done. She's like, I don't want this to sound like rude, but like, do you have to like worry when you travel? And I was like, we always look it up before, but this is like a thing that heterosexuals probably don't realize. Like we have to check before we go, like what the status is there. And then we do not actively like act like we're in a relationship. And I sometimes get so salty when I see like hetero couples. I'm like, oh, I guess we all cute and romantic and that's all I want to be doing right now. And I just have to be like, hey friends. So
It's like,
That's my rant. So
fucking
sorry.
stupid. My brain doesn't process that whole, like, how people can think that close-mindedly. Like, it's not affecting you.
No.
It's not affecting your everyday.
And I remember when I came out, my parents didn't care. Like, they were so on board. Their biggest fear was, like, what could happen to me.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what we should be more worried about, not if your kid is.
We should have
And
to
then
worry about that, though,
advocate for change, whether they are your kids or not, so that the future generations don't have to worry the same way. So they can just be excited their kid is gay, because that's fucking dope.
Oh my God, if I had a heterosexual kid, I'd be like, what do I do with you?
Like, literally number one on my is like, would they be conservative and straight?
Right? Panic.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The other day, if my son ever comes out as gay, I will know the exact moment that I knew. And it was because there was the Children's Foundation Gala a couple of weeks ago. I wore a full black dress and then just pearls.
Nice.
Everywhere.
Oh, I love that.
And I had it in, like, all the pearls in this little container. He found the container. He opened it up. He lifts the pearls and he's like, wow. And he, like, put it on himself. And I'm like, this is the moment. Like,
Growing up, my mom always said, she's like, she's probably a lesbian. And then I would be like, when I was like a teenager, I'd be like, what? And now I'm like, you were correct. So thank you.
My sister and I were always like, Mom's gonna end up like living with her best friend. I'm pretty sure something's up there, and now we're both out. Not Mom yet, but like I'm pretty sure that's still true. Like probably.
It was my journey is so funny because I started working at a farm in the county. Time again, shout out, and the owners are lesbians. My manager is a lesbian. She's also my best friend. I call her my gay mom. That summer, that's Lana, yeah. Tim and Lana paint houses if you need your house painted. Like my boss at the end of the summer was like, I really thought you were bisexual. And like literally Lana's friends who are now my neighbors who are lesbians, like were like, I swear she's a lesbian. And Lana's like, we're just gonna wait and see. And then the next summer I came back and I was like, so I'm seeing girls. And when that summer started, my dad was like, they're gonna turn you gay, aren't you? I was like, or they just like let me open up to the world.
Yeah, that was more my experience.
Yeah.
Was it was like the George Brown assaulted women and it's women only. Pretty much anytime that happens, you can end up with like, I don't know, at the start of the school, like 50% queer, and then like by the end of the 2 years, like 75%. Not that we weren't all. It's not like there's some kind of conversion thing. Just to be clear
we're not
for any
converging.
weirdos listening.
No,
It's that you feel open. For me, it was I grew up like big Ellen generation, so I was like, no, like girly girls aren't. That's not a thing, right? Mm-hmm. So then I like all these girls in class, and then they were talking about having crushes on other girly girls too, like that it could be two femmes, and I was like, oh, okay,
yeah, no, there's
now I understand. Yeah.
There's no like you can like whoever you want.
Yeah,
and
it felt very boxed in for me before school, and that was like the big like, oh, okay. And then like one girl had a crush on me. I was like, oh my goodness, that could be possible.
I just think it was so fun.
So cute.
Like I'd get drunk and then I'd make out with my friends. I'd be like, LOL, and then I'd be like.
The one girl we'd always get drunk or whatever, and our thing was that I would push her against a fridge and we would just make out very heavily.
I love that.
And it turned into being called the fridge count. So every part, like,
that's what I'm calling this episode. It has nothing to really do with anything, but I feel like it's relevant.
But yeah, no, and it ended up like she ended up coming out, and I was like, oh yeah, that's not surprising.
I even tell people though, like I'm surrounded by like so many. I call them like my elder gays, and
that's special.
That's so important. Like when you can have that space of people who like are like minded and support you, and are like. I have to have Lana on. She's magical.
It matters so much, and like this is sometimes where, but I'll try and like just keep it happy. But like, it matters so much that they fought for us, and the shit that they went through. Because
we're all gonna cry now.
Yeah. No, it's
because I had the social worker lesbian friends who stepped in to care, you know. And just spent like years taking shifts to care for the people who weren't going to make it. And so they've had a trauma that we will never have to experience in the same way. And they're so special. Like it matters. And it's like when you see like that TikTok account of like the gay old men that all live together.
I love it. It makes me
That's so
happy.
important.
Old gay men are fucking angels on earth.
Yeah.
Like, no matter... Have you watched Pose?
I need to watch it.
I watched it on a plane. Maybe not my best choice, but you know... we were in premium economy, so I was like really showing it to the right crowd.
I think that show changed me.
Yeah,
like in
it's
my
important.
core, changed who I was. I think everyone needs to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever cried so hard in my life.
Oh my God, I'm going to watch it.
Approach from kindness. Like people have different experiences, assume that they mean the best.
Yeah.
Or that they at least don't mean to be malicious.
No,
like, you know, I always think of the example of like somebody's walking down the hallway, they don't say hi. Like you can picture how that's almost certainly not about you.
No, exactly.
That's almost
100%.
certainly that they were in their head. They had a bad day, something
I get
else,
that.
right?
I literally do that all the time.
Yeah.
I have like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I'm just in the zone. I'm in my own head.
Yeah.
I'm like walking or, you know, like anything in any sort of situation. It's like guaranteed my mind is going
Just
a
distracted.
zillion miles
Yeah.
a minute. And it's like either I didn't see you or I saw you and I was like, fuck, my brain just
didn't happen.
and just didn't process,
Didn't click. Yeah.
Like at all.
But if we just assume, like,
Yeah,
the best, like, oh, they didn't mean that.
Yeah.
They'll say hi to me next time. No
Yeah,
big deal.
exactly.
That would be better than, and I think that's what it is it's like I've been there in, like, those analysis rooms, the, like, you know, let's break down, let's talk about it, like, all of that stuff. I love the therapy speak, but I think sometimes it can become, like, actually problematic. And used inappropriately. And I think that's where they're going with a lot of it. So, like, weird, like, it's not just light, like, gaslighting, the biggest one. Like, that doesn't just mean somebody lied to you one time. No. And, you know, and it's like that really does mean, like, a pervasive pattern of behavior that causes you to distrust your own reality. Generally over like a significant period of time. Yeah.
It's so fun.
And very like targeted and intentional.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's just like, I wish that they could step back from some of that a little bit and just approach with kindness. Like it feels like I always will use the example of like call out culture. And again, I already talked about like, I don't mean leave the shit comment in the room, but I think you can still approach it with kindness. And like a lot of the internet like feels like you said the thing wrong. And it's like, whoa, man, like just calm down for 1 second, you know? I get that a lot because I do have like the luxury designer sustainable clothing. Like a lot of people in the comments like, this is not affordable. And I mean, I do think we need to question what that means. Like affordable to who?
But also, why isn't there lower priced clothing available to everybody?
Yeah.
Sure. Like,
you know, but
to
also,
an extent.
but it's like, why aren't we asking, like, the Old Navies? And it's like, why aren't you doing this?
Well, I think that, like, I come at it from a different perspective, to be honest with you. I think we need to not expect clothing to be cheap because a human being made it.
Yeah.
Especially, like,
So that for me is the hard part is, like, when people question the prices, I said, you know, like, well, that sweater took 10 hours to make just that one. So I told you it was a livable wage. That's $20 an hour. How much does the sweater cost? Plus materials, like it is that much.
Yeah.
That's how much it costs.
that's what we kind of came into when we started doing merch.
Yeah.
And
especially if you want to like do it right. right?
We were like, okay, like, we knew that when we wanted to work with a local,
That's
someone
lovely.
local.
Yeah.
So we have Northern Craft Supply, and they've been
I love
absolutely
them.
Yeah. They're in the armory, right?
Yeah.
so wonderful. And then we found out that the blanks that they use are Canadian made.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm willing to pay more
Yes.
for that one.
And
Yes.
sustainably made. Like,
And it's sustainable.
yes.
Yeah. Like, so I'm just kind of like, so yes, the sweaters are $70.
Yeah.
But
And I think it should be. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good price for a
because
sweater.
I feel
you know?
okay wearing it because I know that
this is what happened.
Yeah.
This was like one of our best conversations.
Oh,
I feel like
thank you.
this is
I'm
the
having
easiest
fun.
conversation
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like nervous because I haven't done this stuff in a long time. And I definitely got my shaky voice when we went to some sensitive topics, but like I'm having
It's
a good
okay,
time.
I cried.
So.
This was my first really big podcast cry.
Yeah.
I've cried 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which other podcasts?
It's the one whenever I talk about bodies.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
every single time. I think it's when I talk about bodies
Yeah.
or relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bodies are sensitive, man. We grew up in a messed up time. Like, I love, look, again, peak autism vibes, but like, I love a like Friday, what is it, TGIF like style show?
Yeah.
Like, give me a young
yes.
adult TV show that's gonna cause some drama, but then resolve perfectly in
Yeah.
half an hour. Happy as can be, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, except for the flippin' fat phobia.
Yeah.
Because I tried to watch Sister. The mom
my
is a
God.
fashion designer and she's maybe like a size 4'6", okay? And every episode there's a fat phobic comment about her body. And it's just like, what in the heck? Like, no wonder we were messed
Yeah.
up.
Have you watched Top Model?
Oh my.
Like old episodes.
I
of
was
Top Model?
literally-
I was actively straight size modeling at the time, so I'd be out there in the world like, no, Tyra's right. Girl, Tyra's right.
I remember I was so excited
I
when
was
like
nuts.
a plus size model went, but she was a size 8, and then I found out that plus size is like 6 and up, and I was like, oh, cool.
By the time I
Yeah.
booked some girls, because I had a model booking agency in Toronto myself, so I booked some of the girls for Canada's Project Runway. They had like the one week where there were plus size girls, and they had to do like a skinny swimsuit and then like the plus size swimsuit. It was a tragedy. But I had like a couple of my models there. They made more money than everyone else I ever booked.
Oh, I love that.
Including like I was booking for Playboy and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, and no, these girls made the most
Get
money
it,
of
queens,
everyone.
yeah. We
So
love
like
it.
it sucks that it's like so exclusive, but at least they're getting paid once they're
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
And then that they actually were like, I hear you, because I was in the industry when it was like that, but by this time they were booking 12s. They were at least 12s.
okay.
Like at least it was
God.
a double digit.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
got
I'll take
there.
a double digit over.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, oh my goodness, what was it, like Casey or something? And they made her like dress as an elephant.
What?
Well, you gotta find the like Casey they made an elephant, because she's literally like a size 2 and they fat shame her the whole time. It's just nuts.
That's
like
what
they
we grew
literally
up
made her
with.
dress up
Yeah.
as the elephant because she was the fat one.
Yeah, and it's like I watch those things and I'm like, I love those shows because I love photography. I love artistic
Yeah,
expression.
yeah.
I think modeling's really cool. Like I think that's all very cool things. And it was like a creative expression and I love watching it, but it was like all these things inside of it were so fucked up.
That's what we grew up with too.
then
That was the expectation.
It was everywhere too. Like it wasn't just
Yeah,
that
it
dude.
was
It's so
kinda
weird how
nuts.
they play with like mental health and disability on those shows too. Because Next Top Model, she had like very bleached blonde hair and her eyes were like icy blue, part because of her vision impairment. And they had a show in the dark. She could not see anything in the dark and she could barely see in like full light. And they'd never before, never since done a show in the dark. And it's just like, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
like
That's messed.
it's like you're doing that for no reason other than
Views and like
Yeah.
messed up people are gonna
It's scary.
you know what I mean, like I don't even know, back then we didn't have the analysis probably to be offended by it.
No.
But
No,
in
It was the norm,
hindsight-
but now I'm like,
Yikes.
oh, that's questionable.
I do that for so many things.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, ooh, yeah, that was gross. I should never do that again.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because I do like a nostalgia moment, but a lot of it is a mess.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just going to give some shout. So we'll have all your socials linked in the show notes.
Amazing.
You
Thank
can
you.
go to LaLuxe Femme in person at 7 Paul Street, Unit 7 in Picton. And there's parking there.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. And the website is laluxefemme.ca. That will also be in our show notes.
thank you.
Can I shut her down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
That was amazing.
It's
It
so
really was.
good. It was so good. It was like so many chats we were talking about, and because of her like previous work, like she kind of comes at it from a different angle that I know. Like she sees body neutrality and being plus size and all these things like through a different lens, which I've never thought about.
Yeah. I think it's really admirable how she's taking her knowledge from her previous job into this and making, like, actively making and paying attention and making spaces where people can exist comfortably.
Yeah. Because I think shopping as a plus size human can be very degrading and terrifying and hot.
And stressful.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why it's like the main reason why I don't buy clothes at the mall. Because I like walk into the mall and I'm immediately like, okay, I'm going to find cute shit, but like, I'm not going to be able to fit into it.
Yeah, I think that's the struggle. Like, I feel like some people are like, I love shopping. I'm like, I genuinely don't, because still as a child it was so hard.
There's a notification on the computer and we gotta like
that's stressful.
connect to the server. I'm like, I don't know.
I really hope we're connected to the server.
I mean, I don't even know what that means.
The server scares me.
Oh God.
But no, she was a joy. She brought us heart-shaped sunglasses, which I'm obsessed with, and a tote bag and a bracelet. And
I've used that tote bag every day.
There's something else in there, but I don't remember. But maybe I'll show you guys on Instagram what was in there.
I posted it on our story.
Yeah.
The sunnies.
Oh, the sunnies. Yeah. So you guys saw the sunnies. But, like, those are going to be, like, a new hot thing in my life that I wear.
I kind of want to bedazzle them.
Please do. You're really into bedazzling right now.
Yeah. So I'm really into, like, disco ball mirror. That's, like, my aesthetic right now. I'm, like, in my maximalist era. So I also bought, did I tell you about this? I bought like 700 Barbie shoes.
Oh, you told me about your Barbie doll shoes, yes.
Yeah, and I've started gluing them to things. So I'm like sorting them by color. And then I have like these like coasters, and I've painted the coaster the color of the shoe, and then I glue the shoes onto the coaster. And then I've also started painting these tiny shoes to look like designer.
I just love it because this is so your current like ADHD
obsession.
And I'm like, what are you gonna do with all these shoes when you're on to your next obsession?
I'll probably just donate them to a kid who
really wants Barbie shoes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I think I saw you post something about painting the Barbie shoes, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
I was so stressed out that day. Like, I feel like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I had like just like a straight up mental breakdown. And I don't know.
Checks out.
It was just like I had so much shit going on, and and then like situations happened, and like without getting too deep, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's just stressful.
So stressful. Life loves to throw a curveball.
I just need it easy for a little bit.
Isn't that the dream?
I know. You know what I realized is how like unhinged my brain is sometimes.
I thought it was normal how unhinged my brain was.
Because I
turned out it's not.
Was talking to somebody who's like neurotypical.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, is that how you see life? Like, and how, like, I'm constantly amazed by people who are not like neurodivergent, because I'm just kind of like, oh my God, like, it's really just that easy.
Apparently it is. I don't feel that way because I am chaos.
Yes.
But I'm learning and I'm going to therapy, and
that's the thing. Constant growth.
New diagnosis, you know. Let's see what happens.
I think it's going well for you.
I do as well. I haven't cried.
Sorry.
Oh, that was a good one. I'm trying to think what else is up.
We might do a flash sale on merch.
Flash sale on like fall winter merch and pre-sale on summer merch.
Yes.
Once I talked to the amazing Jen, we talked to the amazing Jen from Northern Craft Supply.
Mm-hmm.
What else is coming up? We have episodes coming.
Brazen.
We're going to Brazen.
We have stuff going into the gift bag.
We do. We're launching the Babes Supporting Babes. We have those stickers, and we are ordering more because people really seem to like them on our socials. So.
And I stole one.
Yeah, same. So we don't actually have enough for the gift bags at this point, but that's fine.
Because we started just giving them away to people.
I have a problem.
They're so cute,
they're
though.
So cute.
They're holographic, if you haven't seen them.
And, like, how cute, babes supporting babes. And I just need to reiterate that, like, anyone can be a babe.
Yeah.
Please remind all the people in your life of that.
Yeah. I don't care what gender you are.
No.
I don't care what color your skin is.
No.
I don't care who you love, who you don't want to love.
I really don't care.
I really don't care. If you have good vibes and you uplift the people around you and you're just a good person, you're a babe. It's a vibe.
And we appreciate it.
I feel like we've been doing really good with the vibes lately with people.
I think
our guests,
so.
You know what I mean?
And I think like we've learned to interview.
I think so. The last like couple episodes.
It's almost been a year of like actually doing this. Because our first episode came out in June, but we recorded that like
in May.
Yeah. So it's coming up.
Year.
It's crazy. I don't really have anything else for this week besides just like keep an eye on our socials. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Babes of Quinte.
Yeah, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the places. And maybe leave us a rating.
Any rating. I don't care if you don't like us.
No, yeah, if you don't like us,
rating.
By all means, like I will take the constructive criticism.
I'll take it.
If you're mean, I will probably tell you to eat your shorts.
Yeah. So, because that really helps us continue to make this and continue to grow it so that our bosses keep letting us do it.
Also, I just like constructive criticism because I always want to improve and be better.
I struggle with it, but I'll take it and I'll work on it.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
You're so good at taking criticism.
From myself.
I give you constructive criticism all the time.
Really?
Well, you'll look at something, you'll be like, can you look at this document? And then I'll make like little changes and I'm like, okay, so like when you want text to be centered.
That.
Yeah.
You're really nice about it.
Well, you don't have to be mean about it.
I think I've just had some people not be nice about it.
Yeah.
Like once I wrote something at my past job and I submitted it to my boss for review and they said, that was horrible.
Wow, okay.
No critiques.
No,
I was like,
you need a sandwich with, it's like an Oreo.
It wasn't. That was horrible. That lives rent-free in my mind.
You're actually very, very good at what you do.
Thank you.
And you motivate the people around you and you make people smile. And I just think you're wonderful.
I think you're wonderful.
Thank you.
So does Jeanette.
I think Jeanette's wonderful too.
She told me to say, tell the love of my life hi. That's you.
Hi, Jeanette.
Also, as we've said before, we work at Starboard Communications, home of 95.5 Hits FM, Cool 100, and inquinte.ca.
Yes.
We have a lot of advertising options if you have a small business. So if you're interested, reach out to Starboard or to us and we can help you.
Yeah, and we'll hook you up with people who are better at sales than we are.
But we'll try.
And by sales, I mean we'll hook you up with people who are better at building radio marketing campaigns than we are.
Yeah, but we can get your feet wet. Is that
just a little
weird?
dabble.
But otherwise, have a great rest of your week and weekend, friends.
Bye.
The Babes of Quinte podcast is recorded and produced at Starboard Communications, home of 95.5 Hits FM, Cool 100, and inquinte.ca.